Groovy has decided he doesn't want to play.
Aw, he's shy.
It is shy. Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another scene. There we go. Set in The Chronicles of Darkness, Vampire Requiem. Requiem for London. Tonight, we set the scene with Figment. Standing or resting within her cemetery, her graveyard. Terry.
Yes.
Your your cemetery is a small graveyard in the Tower Hamlets, just north of Limehouse and west of Mile End Park. It's quite small and humble right now. Your sire has taken control of Tower Hamlets Cemetery Park, and it's the one you really want. It's the big one. Your cemetery is quite quiet, and few people travel through here at night. Oftentimes you end up feeding on the ghosts more often than you do on people. And truth be told, it does make talking to people easier. It's just simpler to cover up the fact that you have to feed on them when you're not doing so nearly as much. Just as there are a few people, there are also a few ghosts, and while you are not hungry now, you know it's only really a matter of time until eventually the beast is gonna come home to roost. It's inevitable. You've hung on for a long time. But this is not prime hunting, this is not a prime hunting location. You could use a bigger place. For now though, it's home. Cold as it is. What do you do in your small graveyard?
At the moment, probably. If I don't have any particular project I'm meant to be working on, probably just wandering around, see who and what's around, make sure nothing out of the ordinary or bad is happening.
There are plenty of ghosts to talk to. Few mortals. You know the local I'm trying to find a name for them, but local groundskeeper, there we go. Looks after the cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really a job or a profession more than it is a voluntary thing, a community thing.
Mm-hmm.
They don't live on the grounds at all. They just come by and make sure everything is up to snuff. We have a pleasant chat with them. Their life's going quite well. At least. They're making ends meet. You speak with a few of the ghosts. Slim pickings here.
Is there any ghosts around, like new ghosts that I don't recognize? I imagine it's a lot of the same people or same ghosts hanging around.
Yeah. Graveyards are hotspots for ghosts, and even a graveyard as small as this has a community. But, there's not that many of them. None of them are particularly powerful either. They don't show the signs of prolonged undeath.
Mm-hmm. Do any of them seem particularly concerned with anything?
No, they're quite happy to just hold on to their corner. In fact, this place's small size means it is perhaps more safe than larger cemeteries. There's nothing trying to come through.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing that can come through. There is no gate. You know, ghosts often speak of gates, gateways,
Mm-hmm.
and doors. There are none here. This makes them feel safe. It's a relief to them, actually.
Well, anything I can do to be of assistance.
You can, you can speak with one of them. One of the more talkative and lucid ghosts is someone called, it's a spirit called Ivy. She died quite a while ago. Her form is human, but her fashion is out of date, to say the least. She looks as if she died in the 70s.
I'm into her style.
But no, you can see her, of course. Only you can see her. And she floats towards you.
Evening, Ivy. How are you?
The same as I've always been.
Hmm.
You already know the answer to my question.
I don't know. Get the feeling something interesting might be happening soon. I don't know what. Just something.
Oh. I have not sensed anything. But then, I don't feel much anymore.
I suppose that happens over time.
Wow.
Any new friends joining recently?
We're always getting new friends. Personally, I'd just like to go home.
How do you think you could go about doing that?
She sort of looks to the side into empty space.
Keeps you here, Ivy.
I've been looking for the one that did this to me for a long time. I still remember their face so clearly. It's difficult to find a name like this.
Can you tell me what happened? Describe what they look like?
Oh, you know the story. Figment, Ivy's told you many times. You know ghosts tend to be quite self-obsessed in their own ways.
Mm-hmm.
They cling to every memory as if it's... Well, it's the only thing they have.
Mm. So if I were to look into this story, what would I find? Because one of my objectives is to help ghosts pass on. So if this is a story I would know, I probably would have.
Yeah, Ivy's been a difficult one. Being an old ghost, she has learned how to survive as a spirit. Most ghosts simply do not. You have seen the phenomena. When ghosts grow so withered when they can no longer maintain themselves, they're pulled away. It's like a cold vacuum that draws them somewhere away from the graveyard. Your senses allow you to feel it. It doesn't affect the real world. The grass doesn't blow. The wind doesn't change, but you feel it. It's like a sudden case of frostbite. But the problem with her being so old, of course, is that her death is old news. It's difficult to track down much information about her stories. It doesn't help that over time they've become more and more muddied.
So if she died in the 70s, because Figment was embraced in the early 80s. So would this have been something she would have remembered? Like, was it a high-profile murder?
No. From what you can tell, there are plenty of murders in London, but nothing about an Ivy. So either she has misremembered her own name, or something else has gone awry. You could try, well, you've tried using Dominate to restore her memories, but, well, Dominate doesn't really work on ghosts that well, if at all. Something you learn the hard way. But you see, while you're sort of pondering how to best approach this situation, as you've pondered it many times in the past, you see Ivy's head snap in your general direction. Straight behind you. A lot of the ghosts take notice, actually.
Will look behind me.
You see your sire approaching you.
Oh, good evening.
Evening, making friends, I see.
Always. This is Ivy.
I know. Ivy drifts away from her, somewhat uneasy.
Goodbye.
She's your sire, isn't it? So.
To what do I owe this pleasure?
I have a task for you, something that suits both our interests.
Ooh, spicy.
Not exactly the word I'd use to describe it.
Have you ever described anything as spicy?
No, why would I?
Well, there you go.
I'm not a child.
I won't hold that against you.
There is a slow blink from the sire, and a lopsided sneer. Sire's always been like this.
Mm-hmm.
Always business. Never time for anything but work, for research, duties, management of the domain of the dead. Everything seems like work to her. You kind of wonder how she doesn't get so exhausted. She looks like she's got somewhere better to be.
So what's the task?
Have you heard of Baron Eubanks?
You've mentioned him a few times, I think.
We are of like blood in many ways. Like me, the nature of death fascinates him. She looks at the ghosts.
What do I know about him? Did you like a politics role?
Intelligence politics.
Intelligence politics, yeah. Can I roll my new intelligence?
Your new and improved intelligence?
New and improved intelligence that I haven't written on my sheet yet.
Okay.
Yeah! Here, I'll do it right now.
Do you have a politics score?
I do! I always take 1 point in politics because I always have to roll it. Is 5 times. Ah, nope. Let me try that again. One success.
One success. Okay. So, you know that Eubanks is he's a Maquette Elder. And independent of all things, he's not affiliated with any covenants. Or if he was, it's in the past. He's, however, known for his fascination with the occult. Death in particular. The way he runs his barony is very hands-off. He rarely gets involved in the feuds of those of his domain unless it directly affects him. Anything he really openly enforces is the blood tax and his own private domain. He's generally considered one of the more liberal barons, but only because he's relatively apathetic and is more interested in his occult studies. He is, however, a powerful and reliable staple of the court. He is known to show up to basically every illusion that is held. Sometimes to set an example to those who he feels have gotten aware with a bit too much while he's been cloistered away in his studies.
From my understanding, he typically likes to keep to himself.
Yes, he's a very untrusting sort. And difficult to approach. However, I have something that has caught his eye. As do you, in fact.
Oh, do I?
You are of my blood.
Last I checked, yes.
He wishes to study it.
She kind of blinks. My blood?
Yes. He is... I'm not sure if you have ever heard of the name San Giovanni.
The bloodline? Are they a bloodline? They're a bloodline, aren't they?
Yes, a line of necromancers.
Aren't they not a big fan of us?
They are not. And so I do not wish to give him my blood, but I do have something.
So wait, you're gonna give him me?
Wait for me to finish before making stupid statements.
Sorry.
She sighs. You can hear a small cacophony of whispers from the ghosts around you murmuring about your sire, saying all sorts of terrible things about her. They call her a ghost eater. A murderer.
She's our guest, don't be rude.
They are ignorant. Besides, given your first interaction with the unliving, you're not exactly worth my sympathy.
mean, they were I don't know, I'm a little bit.
You won't go over it anyway for a second.
Is it better now?
Yeah.
I mean, ghosts are kind of like anybody. Some of them are nice, some of them are bad. Some of them are just trying to, I guess live is not the right word. Exist? Exist.
On the contrary, I think that is the opposite desire of most ghosts. That is not what I mean to discuss.
Anyway, yep. So, you're selling me to the Giovanni.
What did I just tell you about stupid statements, girl?
Sorry. Are you at least getting a good price for me?
I wish to learn of his arts. I have my own interest in death. I believe we have the capacity to learn it, or at least re-engineer it. We are closely tied to the world of the unknown. I believe he may be trying to do the same with our own particular gifts. I believe he may be seeking to ritualize them.
The things that we do. So, communicating, drinking essence, learning from them. That?
There are two problems with this. First is, as you've rightfully stated, our bloodlines are not exactly on good terms. This could be a trap. And a lethal one. For both of us. There is a second issue. And that is I have no intention of giving up my blood or you. To this necrophile. And I'm sure he has no intention of giving up his secrets to us. Yet, I feel as if a bridge can be built here. And we need allies among the Order. My barony is small, his rests on the outskirts of the city. He is independent and has no firm partners outside of the prince. Oh, sorry, should I say prince? Should I say king? We have our sect, but how much is that worth? They seem more intent on wringing us dry than giving us anything in return for our service. And the sire does say that with a degree of bitterness. She says it as if, like, this is a betrayal to her. So I seek to open diplomatic channels but of a more indirect sort.
I mean, it makes sense. We're basically all studying the same. We study different aspects of the same element, so it seems kind of silly and petty for us not to work together. As long as everybody's playing by the rules.
Maybe, but our conflict dates back some time, at least as far back as the origins of our bloodline.
Mm.
We are one of the younger ones. I'm not sure if I have told you our full history. But
Big parts of it.
we are only just over a century old, really. There are no true elders among our blood yet. I am close. I am quite close. San Giovanni are much older. But they don't have the backing of any one sect. It is largely how we've been able to survive. San Giovanni did not take kindly to us threatening our niche when we came into being. And we are largely viewed by them as an accident that occurred, as opposed to a goal that was attained.
And has this Baron indicated that he's willing to let the past aside and work with us?
I have caught several of his residents snooping around in our domain. I've sent them back to him. With certain messages attached to them. I've made it clear to him that if he wishes to engage with me, he may speak instead of spying.
Has he reached out to you directly?
As you say that, Darlene says such as you, and she actually looks at one of the ghosts. And Figment, you do not recognize this ghost from my grave.
Hello there.
No.
Haven't seen you around here before. Care to introduce yourself?
I don't know. I can't leave this place. I don't know what's happened to me. And Sarah's going to walk up to the ghost. And she's going to open her mouth. As her fangs glow a pale blue almost. And her mouth is almost like an open void that sucks the ghost in like a black hole as he screams.
Gotta talk to him first.
Plasm leaks from your sire's mouth, almost like blue blood. She wipes it off. And then she doesn't really acknowledge you initially. Let me see that. She actually just says, "Quiet, I'm thinking." You see that her eyes are a bright pale blue, and her skin is even paler. And she looks up, sort of as if she's like looking between the stars. As if she's thinking in something, trying to define some sort of pattern. And then she looks down and says, "It's expected." And literally vomits him back out. The ghost
Kirby.
waking in his ethereal roots. You can run back to your barrel, to your You can run back to your master and tell him that I'm willing to open channels to him. But if I find yet another spy, I have to peel out of my domain. I will consider such channels closed. I'm sure you understand my message. The ghost, in terror, seemingly fades away, just sort of vanishes into mist, pops out of existence. You understand, you think he went back to his grave, or a place, or an object. Ghosts tend to have strong connections to things that they can snap back to when they want to. You've seen it before.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Ghosts are very good at finding their own graves.
Mm-hmm.
You might wish to find some reliable figures to lean on to help you. I've already advertised that I'm looking for individuals to help me. I'm willing to offer domain within my barren abyss.
I'm not sure what kind of help they would have to offer, or what kind of help I would need. Yeah.
And perhaps an enchanting voice. I need those who are good in matters of diplomacy, but are also able to recognize and react to a dangerous situation when they see one. In other words, the exact opposite of you.
What? I can take care of myself.
Yes, I remember when the Reaper emerged from the Ouija board.
That was so long ago. 3 decades in a basement really puts things into perspective.
Okay, I remember the ghost that was spying on you in plain sight.
Yeah, that did just happen, I guess.
And I do not wish to see you killed because I sent you into danger without preparation or help.
Oh, that's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
You're serving a purpose.
Okay. Fair enough. Alright, get some hired muscle so I don't die. Gotcha. What are we looking for in return for him? Like,
He
wants my...
He seeks your blood. lifeblood. I have no doubt he may attempt to take it from you when you reach him. If he decides to reach out to you at all, he may send his own emissaries forward. Assuming he accepts the offer I have given him. I will not lose our blood for the gifts of the San Giovanni. That is not a trade that is worth it. We will develop the powers of necromancy in our own time. I know it is something you have worked on and off in the past. She just sort of waits a response from me as if you were to confirm or deny me.
Oh. I mean, I've done a lot of research.
I have heard you have mastered our own gifts.
Yeah.
You've done so very quickly.
Had a lot of free time.
You did very well to master it so quickly. It is rare to see a kindred of your age practice Essentia Fagia with such prowess.
I can be very focused when I want to be. I am curious to see the limits of... I don't know if limits is the right word. Other aspects of the energies and elements that we manipulate.
As if to demonstrate, she unsteeples her fingers, plasm emerges from them, like fine white strings. Very thin. She sort of rotates her wrists to sort of wrap around each other, tying into various knots as she speaks. There are few limits to what we practice, but it is not all-encompassing. I seek to find alternatives. I know there are powers out there, kindred who can see the dead, manipulate the dead, yet do not possess our blood, do not possess the blood of the Giovanni. I believe Eubanks possesses those gifts. I have done my research on the man. He's remained independent for a very long time. I believe so he could look into these exact avenues himself. If you were to retrieve these teachings, either via diplomacy or force, I would teach them to you. You would have earned it.
What if he offers to teach them to me? I'll teach you.
I would accept that offer, and I would see fit to remove you from this rather sorry place. there are much finer cemeteries in which to stake a claim over the dead than this one.
I mean, I'm not saying I've been shopping around, but
What is important is that you learn how to control it.
I can do that. As I said, I can be very focused when I want to be.
Your power over the dead is significant. Your power over kindred less so.
That's fair. Kindred is too close to people.
Both our greatest sanctuary and weakness. We cannot transcend our condition without sacrificing our humanity, yet doing so means we inevitably fall. It is the riddle the Order have yet been able to answer to themselves.
But, I mean, I think he wants something for us, we want something for him. It's, from my understanding, just the blood isn't going to get him what he wants.
If he can study our blood, he could learn how to replicate our powers, potentially at least. Particularly
Maybe,
the
but I
knowledge
mean,
he
there's
possesses.
a certain finesse to it.
There is. He would not be able to use them himself, at least not in the way we do. But as I said, he could ritualize them, integrate them into his own powers. Ultimately, our own abilities fall under the purview of his own necromantic arts.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt he's considered this. He is old. He knows what he's doing. He's only failed to pry our secrets from us thus far because we are operating on the same playing field that he is. We may not be able to control ghosts on command, but we can see them, we can fight them. And he underestimates me by sending neonates to my door to steal my research.
Are we sent neonates? I thought it was just ghosts.
He has sent both. He has the resources to do so. He likely will give them a reward. Likely what I'm offering you now. Safety and blood. And a bit of knowledge.
I do like all those things. So where do I find this guy?
You don't find him. First, you find help. You recruit someone or something to keep you safe. And perhaps one who is more adept at speaking. You will represent me, I'll need you there, you're of my blood, and you won't take anyone seriously there if you're not.
I mean, I'm pretty good at speaking. I've been the ghost diplomat for the last 20 years.
They may both be undead, but ghosts are not kindred.
Alright.
Your optimism meshes well with ghost cause. They want to hang on to something. They want something to believe in. You provide them with that. Elders of the blood don't believe in anything. They only want what is in front of them. That is why I suggest you bring some manner of security with you. If the Baron believes He has an opportunity to simply take what he wants from you, then he will. And that will
I think
put you
Hartwell's been
in
chomping on the bit to get into whatever is happening.
No doubt he has. His powers over darkness are formidable, but it is not the same as our own.
Mm-hmm.
He should stay in his lane.
That's what I told him, respectfully.
Did he listen?
No, absolutely not. It's Hartwell.
I would not be completely averse to Hartwell being present. He is a figure among the Order of some importance. If he were to be endangered there, or a member of the Order were to be endangered there, it would no longer be a matter between barons, but a matter between an independent and a sect.
Mm-hmm.
Political implications would provide you with some safety.
Truth. Problem with Hartwell, though, is that he doesn't quite get the concept of not everything is about him.
You need someone to balance him out.
Mm-hmm.
Someone soft-spoken and eloquent, someone patient.
Do you know anyone like that?
There are kindred among the Circle and the Invictus. Those who excel in diplomacy. Who have made an art of it. There is a Callisti known as Cora Zarola. She is a young Leonid. Malleable. And likely amenable to a friendly face like you. And from what I hear, eager to get out of the thumb of the sire.
Sure, if you think she'll be helpful.
You have other options.
I'll ask around. There seems to be some new people in town recently.
Maybe you can make use of a new face. It would be unpredictable. Just make sure they do not come from one of the Baron's own domains.
Mm-hmm.
Lest you set yourself up for betrayal.
Yeah, not a fan of that.
I will not see my blood taken from me. She looks to the ghosts around you again. Many have left in fear and disgust. She simply looks rather emptily at them. Just a look of disdain as if she has taken offense at something. I hope you choose better friends than these.
You mean kindred friends?
Yes.
Guess we'll see.
Don't endanger yourself.
Not.
Yep.
You finished?
Yep.
Okay, keep finding that too, then.
I know.
No,
I know. So,
Of course not. So, go make some friends. Then should we report to you first, or... will he be contacting me?
I will give you, not your compatriots, a template to follow. I don't want to lose my blood, but I'd rather part with as little as possible. But I only trust you with this information.
So what do I tell them that I'm hiring them to do?
Well, you can tell them that diplomatic channels have been opened between Baroness Paquette and Baron Eubanks, and that Baroness is looking for emissaries to act on her behalf. They'll be given a basic outline of what I want. They won't know what I really want. That is something only you will know.
Sounds good.
And I shall leave you to your reflections. She stares at you intently for a second. With sympathy. Can you figure it?
Give me like one success.
Her body doesn't move, but it's almost as if it's so stiff she wanted to say something but didn't.
And cocks her head to the side. Everything okay?
I am quite fine. Good evening.
Evening.
And she will take her leave, leaving you all on your own, except you're never alone.
Mhm.
And that is where we shall end the scene. Thank you for everything. Thank you for watching. See you next time.